When you hear cozy game, what comes to mind? It probably isn't a game about a bleak dystopian border checkpoint. But what if the steady rhythm of stamping passports in the fictional communist state of Arstotzka could give you the same comfort as a more traditional cozy game? It sounds crazy, right? Papers, Please is famous for its oppressive vibe and stressful choices. But the premise of Papers, Please is simple. It's 1982 and you've won the Labour lottery. In the fictional communist state of Arstotzka, your new job is an immigration inspector. You sit at the booth all day, checking documents to decide who gets in the country and who does not. Your real goal? Well, to make enough money to pay for rent, food and heating for your freezing, unseen family. It's a game about bureaucracy and desperation, and yet if you look past the grim, pixelated surface, it has a shocking amount in common with the very games it seems to be the polar opposite of. Today we're looking at the game in a new light, and we're asking a fascinating question. Could Papers, Please secretly be a cozy game? And more importantly, is it worth your time and consideration as a cozy game? Let's start with the most obvious conflict between Papers, Please and cozy gaming: the atmosphere. Cozy games are generally built to be welcoming, and Papers, Please doesn't give this impression, as it's designed to make you feel anxious and depressed. The game is pretty allergic to colour, it's miserable greys and browns. In a way, the game's minimalist aesthetic removes distractions and allows you to sink into the world, creating a more immersive experience rather than a comforting one. Whilst engaging, the atmosphere of the game does feel cold, sterile and dehumanising. Traditional cozy games are about building a community with positive vibes, and here you are a gatekeeper of a community helping to create a safe and orderly society. But the whole point of community in cozy gaming is to nurture, grow and help. But in Papers, Please, you're complicit in a cruel system and faced with some harrowing moral choices. So the atmosphere isn't cozy in itself, but creates an engaging environment to get lost in and helps you engage deeply with the story and the mechanics of the game, which is all you can really ask for an atmosphere in a cozy game. So it's a 1 out of 2 for atmosphere. It's not warm, but so focused it almost becomes its own kind of comfort. Despite the grim setting, the game's progression feels surprisingly close to a typical cozy game once you boil it down. Cozy games are built on simple, satisfying, repetitive tasks, and the core of Papers, Please is around the daily grind of a desk job. Every day you sit in your booth, call the next person in, and check their papers. The loop is super repetitive, but it's a good kind of repetitive. You take their documents, cross-reference information, and find a sense of achievement in the perfectly processed application. Every person is like a new little puzzle coming into your booth. You get into a daily rhythm of checking documents, and the game keeps things fresh by adding new rules and documents for you to check. So you're constantly mastering new little wrinkles in the system, or a new skill which can create a powerful sense of progression. So it's a 2 out of 2 for meaningful progression. Forget fishing or cooking, document fraud detection is the new cozy. Cozy games often give you a sense of personal space to control as well. While you can't pick out new wallpaper or really decorate your inspection booth in a meaningful way, you do get a sense that this tiny cramped space is your entire world. Inside your booth you have total control in a world that gives you none. But this is where the comparison gets a bit tricky. The stakes in cozy games are usually low. In Papers, Please, they're terrifyingly high. The game isn't about gentle problems, the game constantly hits you with impossible moral choices. For example, a man has perfect papers but his wife's permit has expired. Do you separate them forever? Or do you break the rules and risk a penalty that means your own kids might not eat that night? These are heavy ethical dilemmas, with life and death consequences. A far cry from the low-stakes world of a traditional cozy title, but the stakes in cozy games are what make them meaningful. If we have truly no stakes at all, what is the point in playing the game? In Papers, Please, your choices have a profound and positive impact. Well, depending on how you play it, of course. There are meaningful, heartfelt choices you're faced with, bringing a depth of purpose that many cozy titles strive for, and some of them may not even achieve. So under all that grim exterior is a game where your choices matter. The real question is, can you live with the consequences of those choices? So it's a 2 out of 2 for sense of agency. Every decision feels meaningful, even if it makes you hate yourself a little. Hey there, just a quick pause to say that if you're enjoying the chill vibes and discovering new and unconventional cozy games, subscribe to the channel. If you wanted to support the channel a little bit more, you can also give this Slothee a coffee. And trust me, I need the energy. You can find the link in the description below. And now, back to the video. Your work directly affects your unseen family. Every person you process correctly adds a few more credits towards rent, food, or heat. This constant balancing act is in its own weird way just as absorbing as managing a farm. It creates an incredibly powerful sense of responsibility and a deep connection to the outcome of your work. You're just trying to survive, and that's the core motivation in a lot of life sims. Just with Papers, Please, it's filtered through a much darker lens. The game's genius is making you part of the system. The story unfolds through your actions, allowing you to interact with a diverse cast of characters. What makes this so gripping is how directly tied your actions are to the story. You don't watch the narrative, you live it through stamps, choices, and slip-ups. The people who pass your desk aren't faceless NPCs, they're hopeful immigrants, weary guards, even revolutionaries who quietly test your loyalties. Each interaction feels like a reflection of your own values, forcing you to decide whether to follow the rules or follow your own conscience. That's where the game truly shines. It makes you a cog in the machine. The satisfaction of doing your job well is always shadowed by the weight of what the job actually means. It connects you so tightly to its oppressive world. The game transforms what could have just been another job simulator into a deeply personal experience. You're not just watching a story about authoritarianism play out, you're living inside it, and your choices can make it hurt or be heartwarming, or even both at the same time. So it's a 2 out of 2 for player connection. The game makes sure that you feel personally responsible for everyone's bad day. The game's replayability is built on its rich, branching narrative and its grim reality. There are multiple endings, and your choices directly determine which one you get, but most of them are incredibly bleak. I won't spoil them here, but exploring these paths is fascinating. But it's an exercise in exploring different kinds of tragedy. The motivation to play again comes from a desire to see all the good you can create, all the chaos you can create, and discover how other choices play out within the game's framework. The game pulls you in, and you desperately want it to be okay in the end. But it often isn't, and this sense of rising hope followed by plummeting despair feels real. Almost how you might actually feel in the world of Oppressive. This can create a strong sense of replayability. The gameplay mechanics themselves can also be a strong reason to return. Papers, Please has an endless game mode that allows for continuous gameplay with procedurally generated entrants and different rule sets. The repetitive act of simply checking documents and stamping them can offer a satisfying and comforting experience in itself, if you cast the story aside. But the kind of replayability Papers, Please offers is a far cry from the typical cozy games, where the motivation to play again comes from seeking comfort. Here it can come from a morbid curiosity in seeing how the other choices play out within the game's tragic framework. So it's a 1 out of 2 for replayability, because sometimes you just want to see how else things can go horribly wrong. So where does that leave us? Is Papers, Please a cozy game? Well, it actually scores quite highly, an 8 out of 10, putting it in our certified cozy category. I would say the answer to whether Papers, Please is a cozy game is a no at first. If you're looking for a warm, wholesome escape, you're going to be miserable and pretty stressed out by Papers, Please. The oppressive atmosphere and gut-punching moral choices are the opposite of coziness for most players. The question about whether it's worth your time as a cozy game is more interesting, and I think the answer is a yes. Papers, Please may not be emotionally cozy, but it's structurally cozy. It shows how the same mechanics that make cozy games so addictive, like satisfying repetition, the mastery of routine, and deep engagement from managing something, can create a totally different but equally compelling experience. Papers, Please is for the gamer who seeks out systems and routines. It's for the player who gets deep satisfaction from creating order out of chaos, even if that chaos is a pile of forged documents. It's for someone who loves the feeling of a job well done, but wants to feel attached to a powerful story that will stick with them for years. Think of it like this: Papers, Please is the grim, gritty cousin to typical cozy games, maybe even the black sheep of the family. Cozy games and Papers, Please both have a routine and a set of rules, and both find satisfaction in methodically getting through their day. One may focus on nurturing life, while the other navigates a world of decay. The vibe is completely different, but the appeal of the process is strangely similar. So should you play it? Well, if you value aesthetic and emotional comfort above all, maybe give this one a pass. But if you're intrigued by the mechanics of cozy games and want to see them used in a challenging, unforgettable way, then you absolutely should play this game. Papers, Please is a masterpiece, and it might just change how you think about what a cozy game can be. But that's just my take. What do you think? Can a game be bleak and cozy at the same time? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.